Hey everyone, it's the Nitty Professor, and I've kind of fallen back in love with a pair of boots that has sort of, let's just call it, being on the back burner in my collection, and that is this pair of Red Wing 8061s. These are the Merchants in ebony harness leather. Now, when I was checking up some deets on these boots, again, I did a video on them about a year ago, they're available. Like, you can find them on eBay. Interestingly, people want full price, even for ones that are used. I saw them listed for $320, full price. So I'm not sure what they went for retail a few years ago. I bought these in the bargain basement. Presumably, I mean, I don't think they're factory seconds. I think they were just like leftover. When I was researching these boots, I learned that Red Wing didn't think they sold well enough in the United States to continue offering them, but they sold better in Europe. But like I say, they're actually available. So these merchant boots are kind of unique. And, you know, I bought several pairs of boots in a relatively short period of time. And these were just one pair that I wore less. Like, I was more interested in wearing my Iron Rangers. I was more interested in wearing my Trumans, whatever it was. But I recently did a video on disobedience and the practice, like, you know, just working up to being able to resist whatever you need to, right? And I don't know, I had this, like, desire to break out these boots and just wear them day after day after day after day. And just see what came of it, to like, just like, not necessarily thrash them, but really put them through their paces and break them into where I felt like they were more mine and not just, you know, part of my collection that I kind of put on occasionally, but something that I would wear on a much more regular basis. I don't know, I just had to break out these 8061s and wear them daily. And obviously, those of you who are aficionados of boots, you know, you're supposed to give them rest between wears. So I was breaking the rules and just wearing them day in and day out. And on the one hand, I've definitely seen some changes that sort of fall in line with my need for patina. You guys know how much I really like to put my mark on my boots. For example, these blacksmiths here. But on the other hand, they still look great. And I credit the leather, but I also credit the construction. These are a really sturdy, but also a very simple boot. There's not a whole lot that can go wrong with these. So again, I have seen a number of pairs that are available. You can actually get a hold of them in really good condition. So I thought I would walk you through a little bit of why I'm kind of falling back in love with these boots, and maybe, you know, what's going to happen moving forward. So here's one of the things that I noticed as I really put them through their paces. I developed this kind of cool wrinkle right here. I'm not sure how to explain that, but I kind of like it. I mean, some people might regard that as a defect. To me, it's like, hey, I put my stamp on these babies, you know. It's a really interesting wrinkle there. I mean, it's so exaggerated. This tongue, I'll kind of show you on here. This tongue has a pretty decent gusset to it. You can see how high the gusset goes up. So where that wrinkle is showing up is and it's less so, you can see it in this boot too, but even in this boot you can see there's kind of a nice wrinkle there that shows that, you know, I've been putting my mark on these boots and really giving them a bit of a run for their money. In fact, you can even see, sorry, the soles are a little bit dirty, but you can see where the stitching is starting to show somewhere. These have a really nice chemigum sole. I much prefer this chemigum sole over the Vibram mini lug that is used on the blacksmiths. It's just a better sole. It's a better composition. It doesn't get so hard and brittle. And you all know how it is here where I live in this time of year with the spring. We get, you know, the snow, it melts, the ground is frozen, but that top layer just sloshes around, just turns into mud. And it's a lot better. We still have some spots, but I try to wear a boot that is relatively flat, and this chemigum sole fits the bill with regard to that. So I still use a boot brush a lot of times before I go inside to get the worst of the muck off of these babies. But isn't that leather gorgeous? And I'm going to be honest, I have not conditioned these boots. So I've owned these boots for, I'm going to go, I guess, going on 3 years. This is, I'm pretty sure it's an oil tanned leather. It's got a lot of waxes in it. I've heard it described as a T-core. It's not really a pull-up leather. You can't really see a change of color in this leather. But this is a remarkably robust leather. I'm sort of thrilled, really, that I could get those wrinkles in it just, you know, by wearing them basically the past week, day in and day out. You can see I obviously don't use kilties, which is just part of who I am as a boot wearer. Lots of great wrinkling on the tongue, but the toe box, there's not, you know, I mean, it's not like caving in. Now, one of the things that is peculiar about these merchant boots, and I'm not sure if that applies to the Beckmans. I kind of relate these to the Beckmans a little bit as far as the style, even though those are like a half leather sole, so there are some major differences. But this is an unstructured toe, and I really like an unstructured toe. It's just, there's just less stuff there to interfere with your enjoyment of the leather and being able to put your print, your mark on the boot, versus like this. I've kind of gotten out this Blacksmith for a bit of a comparison, and this is more or less of an unstructured toe too, but this has a bit of a lining in the toe box. Now, even this toe box I've managed to collapse. I've worn these Blacksmiths just a ton more. It's obviously, it's a different boot construction. These merchants are, so it's kind of homage to Charles Beckman, who was a merchant, and he was one of the founders of the Red Wing Corporation. They're supposed to be a slimmer profile, which they definitely are. You can almost even see, like, if I just put the Blacksmith next to the merchant, the toe box is just bigger. It's just roomier on the Blacksmith, so it's a bit more structured, and it's also made to be roomier and supposedly keep its shape. But I thrashed these, but good. Not quite as bad as my Iron Rangers in the Hawthorne Mule Skinner. So here it's really the leather that's doing the work of holding up and providing the shape of the boot. And as you can tell, you know, definitely the leather is creasing from where I walk, and I've been doing a lot of like dog walking and just going outside and picking up the yard, trying to get stuff ready for spring, even doing some gardening and some work weeding and stuff like that. So I've been on my hands and knees. That's probably why this boot has kind of a divot there in the toe. I don't know if I could try a little shoe goo on that and see what happens. But in any case, this leather, I just think it's amazing. I just think it's amazing. It's a wonderful mocha color. Now, as far as the shape of these boots, one thing you can notice is that it's a tiny bit shorter than the Blacksmith. If I line up those heels really carefully, there is just a marginal, maybe about a 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch height difference from the Blacksmith. And the Blacksmith, it sort of slopes down towards the back, whereas the Merchant is a little more flat. And to be honest, when I first got these, the way it was going around my ankle and hugging my ankle kind of rubbed a little bit in a way that bothered me. Whereas, well, the Blacksmith used to have this lining around, and I took it off. So that immediately made it really forgiving. The Beckman has an entire extra layer of leather. You can see how there's a whole collar that is stitched on, and I really like it because it's stitched on from the inside. It doesn't fold over, and it's again, very robust. You've got basically a double leather collar going on here, and it took me longer to break in. So I think that's one of the reasons why these boots, I kind of wore them less to begin with, but now they're much more broken in, and they're very comfortable. As far as the innards go, we're dealing with vegetable tanned leather and the sort of, you know, typical heritage composition of your Red Wing boots going on. Interestingly, the inside of the tongue leather is not dyed, while the inside of the rest of the vamp and the heel counter and stuff is dyed dark. So that's kind of fun. And the sole is, again, we have, you know, the Chemigum versus the mini lug. I will take the Chemigum sole any day over the mini lug. So I think as far as breaking in wise, it was a little bit more work, partly because, well, again, I took the collar off of the blacksmith, so that made it easier. Between the leather, between this double layered collar, between the little bit slimmer profile of the 12 bucks, it did take me a little more work to break these in. Now I have another pair in a rough out leather that are a size 8.5. Normally in heritage boots, I wear a men's 9D. These blacksmiths are 9D, and they're a tiny bit big. And I have Iron Rangers that are 8.5, and they fit, and I have Iron Rangers that are a 9, and they fit. These are a 9. I would say that to have the merchants fit well, you don't want to go down like a whole size. You probably want to go down a half size, and that's it. Otherwise, I think you're going to find that they're just going to be too small because of the slimmer profile. But I'll probably now that I've really made friends with these boots, I can see myself just getting a ton of wear out of them. Now that I've worn them day after day, multiple days over the course of the week, and really just put them through their paces, they're very comfortable. They're big enough. They have this cotton wax lace. The eyelets are a little small. You're probably going to struggle to use like a leather lace on this. Again, it goes along with that slimmer profile. But the leather is holding up beautifully. All I did today was wash the dust off. It's just gorgeous. And I thought I would just kind of, you know, give these boots another chance and share with you what I've learned as a result of doing that. Again, don't give up on getting a pair of 8061s. They are out there. There are merchants also in other colors. I've seen them in eBay. The Beckman boots are kind of on a par with these. And I have not bought that kind of boot yet. I have tried a pair on, and I've really thought seriously about it. Well, I bought a new roof, so let's put it that way. Been investing in my house lately. Haven't ruled out. I might check on the website and see what I can find. But yeah, singing the praises of these merchant boots. It's a beautiful pair of boots, and you know, well worth giving a second chance. I think I'm gonna be doing a lot more out and about. Probably not like yard work, like lawn mowing per se, like I do in the blacksmiths, but giving them, again, a run for their money and really putting them through the paces. So if you have this pair of boots, I'd be really curious what your experience has been, or anything similar, and with the components, you know, the ebony harness leather, the Chemigum sole, and all that kind of stuff. Let me know. Hope you enjoyed this video. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk soon. Ciao.